Dope is what flows in his fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in his fam's DNA.
Welcome everybody to Dope Interviews, brought to you by 19 Media. I'm your host, Warren Shaw, and today we're back in the hoops realm, and we are joined by Chicago's own Antoine Walker. That's right, employee number 8 is in the virtual building, here to discuss the Dreamville Chi-League powered by Wilson Basketball, community engagement, coaching, NBA, et cetera, et cetera. My guy, Antoine, what's good, family? How you feeling?
It's good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Nah, man, it's definitely our pleasure. Definitely great here to be chopping it up with you. And so I just wanted to jump right in. This is what we do here in Dope Interview. So you're one of the premier coaches, right, for this Dreamville Chi-League powered by Wilson. Just what brought you into the fold to kind of get this, to be part of the summer program here in Chicago?
Well, obviously, it's a little bit more deeper for me individually, being a part of the summer league. I got great history dating back to when I was a kid, when I was a ball boy, growing up watching the summer league play, Chicago State, Kennedy King, IIT, and then obviously playing and participating as a young man, and then as a professional athlete. Once my career, we're taking an active role in funding and keeping the summer league alive, and now to see it obviously had a little hiatus there, and now to see it back, especially in there, I think Chicago needs it. It's been a very important part of our culture and what we've accomplished on the basketball court in Chicago, things that we as players look back and enjoy from the local NBA players, European stars, high school stars, playground stars. So it just holds so much history and so big to be a part of. So I'm excited to see it come back now, and then coming back to an iconic place like Chicago State has been great.
So tell us a little bit more about that history. There are other summer runs out there in LA and New York and so forth and so forth. What makes Chicago's run so special?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think we're very competitive. We take basketball very serious in Chicago. We consider ourselves the Mecca. You got New York, LA, and Seattle's came along now to become very good and produce a lot of pros. But we believe that we got the best basketball players, and that's what makes it special and goes back to the history. But you even think back to Michael Jordan played in our summer league, and back in '88, and Isaiah Thomas and Mark Aguirre. You had so many great Hall of Fame players that have participated, and then we've carried the torch from the different guys that you've seen. And one thing that goes underlooked, this is an opportunity for kids to see pros for free. Every kid is not fortunate enough to be able to buy a ticket to an NBA game, and now they get an opportunity to see an NBA player play for 7-8 weeks, for free, because guys want to play and compete. So I think that's what makes it special.
Now that absolutely is special. That aspect of kind of giving back to the community and letting kids see some of these celebrities. So this tournament's been going on for a couple of weeks over a course of a few weekends, so to speak. Who are some of the big name players and even celebrities that fans and people who might otherwise not get to interact with this level of talent, so to speak, on a regular basis? Who are some of the names that you've seen out there while you've been out there coaching?
Well, obviously you got the young pros, Jabari Parkers, the Fonzo McKinney's, these guys are household names in Chicago that a lot of the young kids don't get an opportunity to see them play a lot. These guys have been moved around, and so they get an opportunity to see these guys play to some of the talent. I think what's more important, without naming names, I think what's great is some of our collegiate talent, whether it's junior college, Division I players, Division II. We got a pillar of young talent that's coming up that may not have the national notoriety, but now people are getting the opportunity to see them play. So I think that's what stands out this year. Right. I mean, as the league is continuing to grow, you'll get that consistency of pros in there. And Chicago's down right now. When you talk about active pros from Chicago, we're probably at our lowest point of that. So it's really important for us to highlight that second generation of players, whether it's on the high school level or the collegiate level, or even in the European professionals. I mean, we have some great European professionals and guys who've done a terrific job, made great living playing the game, and they leave a lot in the summer because they have to go overseas. And a lot of people don't get a chance to see them play. So you get a chance to see them play a little bit now.
Oh man, really good stuff there, Antoine, and I thank you for so much for sharing some of this here too, diving a little bit deeper into it. So what's the crowd been like, right? Like what's the vibe been at the game? So I described a little bit of that atmosphere for us, for those of us who haven't been able to make it down there or up there for me.
I think it's great. The crowd has been great. I mean, obviously you play in Chicago State, so this is a bigger venue to fill up. When you think about, you got to fill up 6,000 or 7,000 seats, which is tough, being that you're doing this towards the end of the summer, and so many kids and people are getting ready for school and going back to college. So this is tough, but I think the atmosphere has been great. I love what Wilson and Dreamville have done as far as the cosmetic part of it, as far as decorating it, making it look good, making it feel like a NBA game or a real, collegiate game, putting that feel to it, whether it's signage, the ball, the uniforms, all those things are in play, and all those things are important when you have in the league, and those things are in play right now.
Antoine, community engagement is something that Dreamville and Wilson really wanted to push heavy as a part of this project and bring it out there. Just you touched on it a little bit earlier, but just what role does the community engagement play for even you in your life and some of the things that you're doing, and how do you see that this tournament, outside of what it's doing on the basketball court, how's it impacting the community as well?
Oh, without question. I think if they're able to make an impact in a community, it'd be huge. And it's because Chicago's in a bad spot right now. I love my city, born and raised, but the heightening violence from our youth is at an all-time high, with so much senseless killings and little kids getting killed, that innocent kids. And I think when you talk about communities and having programs and things in place, it just gets those kids off the street and gets them involved in something positive. And I'm not sure which age group we need to target more than the other, but as long as we can get to our youth and show them something different, and use this not only the Dreamville and Dreamville and obviously Wilson basketball can really use this and push this in the community, would be great. For myself, it's just more or less, just trying to be more than a basketball player. Understanding that I'm from Chicago, that everybody's not going to be 6'9", 6'10", and have an opportunity to make it out through basketball, but you can also do other things. And hopefully those are some of the things we try to instill back in the community. There's so many other hidden talents kids have, whether it's music, it don't just have to be sports. It could be a ton of things to motivate them. It may be a trade into the real world, but just giving them different outlets and different opportunities. And hopefully Dreamville, Wilson basketball, and myself can also provide that type of leadership to these kids, so we can try to stop this and change the narrative, because Chicago's in a bad spot right now with our youth.
We're talking with former NBA hooper Antoine Walker about his involvement with the Dreamville Chi-League, powered by Wilson Basketball. Make sure you're following Antoine on Twitter at WalkerAntoine8. Also follow Wilson Basketball at Wilson Basketball. You touched on something there that's very, very poignant, right? You know what I mean? And again, you're more than a basketball player, you're more than a hooper, so to speak, and you're trying to give back into that community. You're a family man now, and all of those things. So what are some of the lessons that you try to instill in your family as you've grown up? And then kind of conversely, what have they taught you? How they helped you become a better person as well?
Well, I think we all got to use sports for what it's good for. When you're an inner city kid like myself, I come from very humble beginnings, so I only can speak for myself. Sports was an outlet. Sports was an opportunity for me to get off the streets and to do something positive. I looked at sports as an opportunity. Hey, can I go to college? Can I go to school for free and have an opportunity to further my education? And that's what I use. That's what I use sports for. And I think that's what we have to go back and talk to kids about. Everybody's not going to be NBA players. It's not enough jobs. You've got millions of kids and millions of people that are fighting to get in the NBA, and it's 450, 475 jobs in the NBA. It's just not enough jobs. So I think it's very important that we also bring out the other talents, or at least try to showcase the other talents with the community programs and get kids to do other things. We don't want to put everything solely behind basketball because it's a basketball summer league, but you also want to use basketball as a stepping stone to help better these kids, whether it's furthering their education, whether it's beginning some type of mentorship where you can get an opportunity to put your hands on them and talk to them and guide them in the right way. And the summertime is such a unique time to do it. And when the league gets going on a consistent basis, you're talking about 8 to 10 weeks of this summer league lasting throughout the summer, which is tremendous when you talk about a kid gets an opportunity to be a part of a community program for 8 to 10 weeks. And hopefully that's something that Dreamville and Wilson basketball are going to do.
For sure, for sure. So what's a typical day like for you now, kind of, outside of the hoops world, so to speak? Just like, how are you getting through the day and, transitioning and working with your family and working in the community?
For me, it's been great. I mean, it was a process coming out. As a player, you try to figure out what you want to do after you've done something for so long. But obviously, I'm still engaged in the game, doing TV work with Fox, ESPN. I did college. Also worked hands-on with the NBA and the NBA Players Association, with the financial education department, and going back to the league and talking to all 30 teams. So I'm still involved in the game in that sense. But speaking of small hobbies, man, I love to golf. Something I love to do is play a little golf. Family is much older, kids are much older. Follow my daughter. My daughter just graduated from the University of Northwestern, playing volleyball. She got an extra year eligibility for the pandemic.
Nice.
So she's at the University of Virginia. Looking forward to her season starts in the next week. So going back and forth to Virginia, seeing her play her senior year. Obviously, we know how bad the pandemic was last year, so she did not get an opportunity to really play. So looking forward to watching her play this year. My oldest daughter is adult now, so both my kids are doing great in great spaces. So just trying to spend time with my family and pick up on some of these hobbies, but staying active as much as I can. I mean, just enjoying life, staying active, and also, being a part of, events like this, being a part of Dreamville and Wilson's events in the summer, whenever I can help out and make this city better, I try to.
No, you're definitely doing that, man. So any hopes of, maybe joining J.R. Smith, on the golf tour?
No, I don't. You know what? I don't want to practice that much.
I feel
I just like to play. I just, the dedication that it would take to practice and hitting balls, that's out my body now. I mean, I want to play more for recreational. I got a good group of friends that we're very competitive. I mean, we're not shooting the hundreds now. We're playing pretty good golf, but
What?
I'd rather just stay in that realm, and I don't have the discipline to go to the range and pound 1,000 balls to get good. I can't do it.
No problem with that, my guy. So what's your proudest moment off the court for you? I mean, you just mentioned a lot of great initiatives and things that's happening with your family personally. I always wonder what people think about after their post career is over, or their playing career is over rather, and just kind of like, all right, well, now they're really embedded in the familial life, and do those things now try to take up over scoring 50 points in a game, or hitting 10 threes or whatever it is? Like, kind of, what's your proudest moment off the floor, bro?
I think now is just being out in public and people coming up, one recognizing you, one for your basketball ability, but in Chicago, people also recognizing you for the things that you've done off the court and tried to get back into the community. Even doing this interview and being part of, and Wilson and Dreamville asking me to be a part of getting this summer league back started in the community aspect of it. I think those are the things that you're very proud of as a player. The basketball accolades take care of themselves, but to be a part of other things that's going on in the city of Chicago is always special. And people not just looking at you as, hey, he played basketball in the city, but also he done a lot of great things in the community. So those are some of the proudest moments. And besides the obvious, I mean, I want to add to that, to be able to come from humble beginnings and to be able to make it out and do things for your family. Those are things that you're always proud of, because you dream about it and you never know if you're going to have the opportunity to do it, but to accomplish that and see your family in a better space than they were when you started this journey is always great.
We're chatting with Antoine Walker here on Dope Interviews, powered by 19 Media. Make sure you're following Antoine on IG at Antoine Walker 8, and make sure you follow Wilson Basketball for the great work that they're doing with Dreamville and that summer program tournament. Listen, a couple more before I let you get out of here, man. Like, you are a hooper, right? You know what I mean? And once was, always will be. And I got to ask you some hoop questions in addition to that. So who are you still keeping up with in the league? When you play, like, who are some of your friends? Obviously Pierce and guys like that who you spent a lot of time with. But who are some of the other guys that you still kind of talk to outside of X's and O's on the floor?
Got some really close friends in the league. Obviously guys that are from Chicago, Nazee, Muhammad, Sean Marion, Quentin Richardson, Darius Miles. Those are guys I can continue to talk to. Will Bynum, guys we all played together in the league, and we still maintain a great relationship. The Pargo brothers are very good friends of mine. So we all still maintain a great relationship and try to help each other out with any individual endeavors or things that we're doing off the court. So I think those things are great. I'm a part of that. And then as a hooper, the game itself, I'm a fan. It's about 15, 20 guys I love watching in the league. I'm a huge Westbrook fan. Obviously, Giannis, I'm a big fan of Giannis. And then the typical people, the LeBron James, the Steph Currys, the James Hardens. Obviously, I love to watch those guys play. And there's some guys that's off the radar, the Bradley Bills, the John Morants, and guys like that I love watch playing. So during the wintertime, I'm glued into my DirecTV. I'm not just necessarily watching the national TV game on TNT or ESPN. I'm watching the league pass.
Yeah, you like me, you like us. You know what I mean? Like you want to catch it all for sure.
Yes.
P, Perk, Scal, a lot of former Celtics have found ways to kind of get into the booth or to analyze the game and things of that nature right now. That's kind of cool. Is that something that you saw yourself doing kind of as you were even kind of dwindling down in your career? Or is it something that kind of just materialized as the years have kind of gone on? Sorry.
Well, when I first came out, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I know I loved the game. I know I loved to be a part of the game. And then once I got on TV and tried it out a couple of times, it kind of came natural to me to talk the game. And I love the game. I'm a student of the game. So it's not like I'm pressing to watch it or it's homework or it's hard to do. But it's been great for me to be a part of the game and still watch it at the level that I watch it at and be able to give information and my analysts and insight of it. And, it's a tough job because it's not a lot of turnover. It's very hard. If you look at the Barkleys, the Shaqs, and Kenny Smith, we've watched them for 20 plus years. So it's not like you see a lot of new faces on TV. So to have an opportunity to have an impact and have my voice being heard has been great for me. It's therapeutic, to still be a part of the game.
No, I can definitely can identify with that. I'm sure that's got to be a great feeling for you. Miami and Boston are two teams that made some noise, two teams that you know pretty well. That's had some turnover this summer. Do you think either of those teams, have a chance to win the East?
No.
Just keeping it
always tough. Yeah, just keeping it real. I don't believe they have a chance. I like the additions. I like what Miami did. I like what Boston. I think they'll be two very, very competitive teams. But the cream of the crop is in Brooklyn and Milwaukee. I think it's still going to have to go through the Bucks. And Brooklyn's always going to be based on if they're healthy. But if they're healthy, those three talented guys, I don't think they can be beat in a 7-game series in the Eastern Conference. So I still got Brooklyn coming out the East. And I know you didn't ask this, but I got the Lakers coming out the West. Wow. So those are my two teams. Early predictions coming into the new season.
So as a Boston legend, I got to ask you a specific Celtics question, so to speak. Tatum and Brown, what's the next step of development that you think that they need to take to try to get to the levels of the Brooklyns in the Eastern Conference and the Milwaukees as well, too?
Well, they've made tremendous strides. I watch those guys a lot. Both of those guys became all-stars last year, and they got to lead by example. They got to bring the other guys along. They're no longer babies anymore. These are guys now who's 4 or 5 years in the league. They're paid big money. It's time to deliver. The unfortunate part, the last few years, they've been yet to find a point guard that can play with them and then have some success. So they're going to have to welcome in a good point guard. And I think they signed Dennis Schroeder. Yeah. Maybe he can be the answer. But they got to welcome in those guys and take more of an active leadership role. but they're definitely talented enough to compete with anybody in the league. I think Jason Tatum is going to be special. I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame player. He's going to be that next Celtic that goes in the Raptors. He's the next Paul Pierce, the Larry Bird, Reggie Lewis. He's that next guy that will go on the Raptors and be that impactful Celtic.
Antoine, I think, you're doing amazing work in the community for the city of Chicago, obviously working with Dreamville and Wilson basketball, and then obviously your experience within the league itself too. Final one is just, you touched on, you're doing some stuff on the financial side, doing some stuff in the player development space. Do you want to pursue that even further, like kind of make that the main gig, if you will? Maybe working for a team, maybe working for the Celtics or the Heat or something like player development role?
Yeah, I'm starting to lean towards it. I mean, I do love TV. I love where it's at right now. I think hopefully I'll still be able to do it, but I am leaning towards now maybe working with a team on getting one team. I kind of wanted to wait till my kids were completely out of college, and if I decided to leave or had to move somewhere, that would be a comfortable thing for me to do. So I'm finally in that space. So yeah, I am looking for opportunities to maybe work with a team on a more developmental side with players. Obviously, I would love to continue to be a mentor, help our youth out, help our players out. I think it's a need for it. The percentages are too high with athletes having trouble with their money. So if we could just help, and we're getting younger. Guys are coming in the league at 18, 19 years old consistently now. And so they need help. They need guidance. So if I could stay in that role, I would love that. I get a lot of satisfaction out of being part of that.
Antoine, again, I thank you so much for this. I think all the fans, listeners of our show are going to be excited to see you, hear you, know that you're still keeping up the great work and still being a Chicago legend and working with Dreamville and Wilson basketball to make things happen in the community, but also still giving back to the NBA community and the younger guys who definitely can use your insight and your knowledge. And hopefully that player development thing really does work out. But in the meantime, we'll still catch you on TV, doing your thing and providing some great insight, man. Thank you so much for joining me, man. I appreciate you so much.
All right. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime. I'm your host, Warren Shaw. Make sure you follow me at Shaw Sports NBA. Make sure you follow the show at Dope Interviews, Dope_interviews on Twitter. And make sure you follow my man, Antoine Walker here, all both on Twitter and IG. Thank you so much. This has been another Dope Interview. We'll catch you next time.
Together we stand, divided we never. The vision is one, striving for the better. Working as a team, working toward a dream. It's not even work when the team is the dream. On a united front, we got our own back. A band of brothers to counteract any attack. One heart in fact, forget what the blood say. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. So let's do it for the love, give to the max. Listen to opinion, but react to facts. And remember that together with a but separate, just pieces of it. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA.
Family represent like a tree with names on it. We're free, no chains on it. Relieved, the pain's gone, I can see. We come together like questions on the quiz. Mojo Flow and Viz, man, you know what it is. And if ignorance is bliss, you're gonna hate this lesson. Organized intellect like a tropical depression. My symbol is the cross, a mic and ghost peppers. Cause I'm just a black sheep, growing up to be a shepherd. Moonlighting as a weapon to protect the children. Every brother is a father, dynasties we're building. Max, J and K, Bay, and Isaiah, next level of the family foundation, understand me?